Nickelback. I don't know.
Yes!
What?
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what are you going for here?
I cannot believe this is Roots 20, that we've been doing this for 20 years. What is Roots? Well, if you're a G&G'er, if you've been here a long time, you know that Roots is the celebration of God's gift of music. But if you're new, what it is more technically is it's a service that we set apart every year that is start to finish music and dance and video incorporated, but it's mostly about the music. And what's so cool about Roots is it's not your church type music. You know, these songs weren't written to be played in a Sunday church service. They're songs that everybody in the audience would probably know. They're intentionally chosen to help spread the message of the gospel. And so songs that weren't necessarily set out for that purpose now have kind of a new life, and God's getting the glory for it. So I'm really excited to see what they have in store for us this year for Roots 20.
What's your name and what's your role in Roots?
My name is Logan Savage, and I'm on the dance ministry.
I'm Jonah. I'm a dancer.
Sean Young, and I play guitar.
What's been your favorite Roots?
Definitely the Uncaged Roots last year. I just thought it was really cool, and it was a lot of fun, and I really liked that one.
I'm gonna have to say the one in 2022. Like, I think that was the one about like the timing and revelation and stuff. It just like really got to me.
Oh my gosh, probably 15 years ago. We had 4 bass players, and we were all playing different songs, and I got to do a Stevie Wonder song, and I love Stevie Wonder, so that was my favorite.
A song you can't sing, it's about as just as sad to scream on a submarine.
So Jeff, how did Roots get started?
Well, Roots really started as the last lesson in a lesson series on worship. And during that series, we discovered that music has always been a vehicle for the expression of worship to God. If you think about it from a biblical perspective, all the way back in Genesis chapter 4, the first musician is named. And then in the biggest book in the Bible is a book of Psalms, 150 songs that were sung to God. And so music's always been important as an expression of worship. Another thing that we learned during that lesson series is that there is no such thing as Christian music. Music is really neutral. Music is just music. It's the lyrics that make a song either Christian or unchristian, good or evil. And so one of the things that I guess you could say we've seen a couple of things that were concerning to us. And one of those things is that churches have divided over music. And so you have churches that have a traditional service at 9 a.m. and then a contemporary service at 10. And so the church family gets divided over musical preferences. And we never wanted that to happen at Good News Gathering. Another thing that we didn't want is we didn't want our kids to have to go elsewhere outside the church in order to play music that they liked. We wanted the church to be a home for them and their musical preferences as well. And so that was important to us. And so what we decided to do as the last lesson in that series was just to do all different kinds of music. And we did that series, we did everything from Gregorian chant to classical. We did country to blues. We did rock and roll. We did rap, but all with a Christian theme. And what we discovered during that series is that God can be worshiped through many different styles of music, and that's okay. And so that was really the original impetus for Roots. And one of the things that I think happened is that we really wanted to educate our people so that our young people could appreciate the power and the beauty of the songs of the older generation, and our older generation could appreciate the energy and the creativity of the music of the young. And you think about it, the Bible says in Colossians, it says, worship God through hymns and songs and spiritual songs, okay? But it also says in Psalms, worship God through a new song. And so we wanted to have both. And so Roots was originally intended to educate our own people. But then it morphed over time to become a bridge event. And it enabled us to create bridges to people who maybe don't currently have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Because music has a powerful way of impacting people. Another thing that we did over time is we added different artistic expressions, things like drama and dance, video, graphics, lighting, all those kind of things that allow people with different kinds of gifts to be involved as well. And so that's become an important element.
What was the name of last year's Roots?
Oh my gosh. Uncaged.
Yes.
Caged, right?
Close.
Uncaged.
Yes.
Caged.
Close.
Uncaged?
Yes.
Oh, wrong.
Was it like Uncaged or something like that?
Yes.
Really?
High five. Good job.
Oh yeah, Uncaged.
There we go.
You got me. What was it?
Uncaged.
Oh my gosh. I remember the cages.
I was waiting for your.
One of the coolest things about God in all of Scripture, Psalm 68:5. He is a father to the fatherless. God never leaves his children fatherless.
JD, what is this Roots about?
This Roots is called history. And history really kind of points to the fact that, one, we've been doing this for 20 years. And in some ways, this particular Roots is very special, but also a little bit unique and bittersweet because this is the last Roots that we have planned to do. And we feel that way because we truly, as a church, as a leadership team, have come to the place where we believe that God is calling us to do some different things. Roots has been one of the defining pieces of our church's history and our service to the community. But we do feel like God is leading us in some different directions and some new things that we want to do. So we wanted to do a few different things with this particular Roots. And when we sat down and we asked the question, what does this Roots need to feel like? We really came up with 2 or 3 things that really mattered to us. One, it needed to be what Roots always is, which is an explanation of the good news of Jesus Christ through song. Every year that we do Roots, we try to share the gospel with people through the music that we select, and this year is going to be no different. But secondly, we thought to ourselves, this should be a celebration of all of the songs and all of the artists and all of the people that have made Roots what it is over the last 20 years. And so it not only reflects his story in that we share the gospel through Roots, but it also reflects our history as a church and all the people that have made this what it is over the last 20 years. And so we're really excited to share that. And then the third thing that we kind of thought about was this thing needs to be bigger and better than ever. And so as we thought about those things, we really kind of decided to do some different stuff. One, we are going to share the gospel with people through song again tonight. But secondly, as a way of celebrating what we've done over the last 20 years and the things that God has allowed us to be a part of, we decided to select at least one song from every single Roots that we have ever done. And I'm really excited about sharing that with you guys tonight. And then thirdly, it's definitely bigger and better than ever because this Roots, we've selected over either in whole or parts of 30 songs. We've never done that many before, not by a long shot. You've actually already heard a few of them out in the atrium if you're watching this right now, and I hope that you enjoyed those, and there is a ton more to come tonight.
So JD, what's a specific example in this year's Roots that we can see his story being emphasized?
Okay, so this is going to be a really fun moment. At the end of, very near the end of the service, we're going to have a song that is in fact one of the most important songs ever written in the history of the world. Many of you, if you're Christians in the room tonight, you may be able to kind of mentally be running down a short list of songs that might be. But the reality is there's some stuff that we're going to do tonight, but we're going to have the opportunity to participate in that all together and enjoy that moment together. And that song really rehearses the story of Christianity and the truths that we hold so dear as followers of Jesus. And so in that way, I think that moment is going to be really special at the end of the service.
Which artist has been a part of every single Roots?
Lincoln Brewster.
No.
Chris Tomlin.
No.
Imagine Dragons? I don't know. It's Imagine Dragons.
No, that's what she said.
Lincoln Brewster?
Nickelback. I don't know.
Casting Crowns. I'm like, what are you going for here?
Queen?
Yes!
Oh, really?
Good job.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Queen?
Yes! Good job.
Queen?
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
About 5 or 6 years ago, in one of our Roots service, we were having difficulty with one of the mics. I don't know if it was the batteries went dead or what, but something definitely was wrong, and it was right at the beginning of the service. And so we were running around backstage, and we were trying to figure out how we were going to get that mic off stage so Doug could take a look at it or, figure out what was going on. So the next song, we had a drama, and the drama was that actors were walking from stage left to stage right. And so I stepped into the green room to watch the drama to see how it looked in the audience, because you can see it on the TV screen. It looked really good. And so I stepped in there and I looked and I was like, who in the world is that? Well, what Doug had done is he had become one of the actors just on his own. He had just decided. So he was walking from stage left to stage right, and as he walked with all the actors just doing what they were doing, he reached over and he grabbed the mic and he took it off stage and he fixed it. And then the next thing I know, he's come around behind the stage and he's crossing again with the second group of actors, and he put it right back where it was. So I guess whatever it takes, Doug is going to get the job done. And that's just one of the many things that I think the team does, is that we just are creative and we just get the job done no matter what it takes.
Sherry, what does it take to put on Roots?
The Roots process in all is about a 10-month process. In January, we send an email out to the team asking them to submit songs for selection. Typically, we try to get 300 to 400 songs together to break that down over the course of a 2-month period. There's a song selection committee that gets together and listens to all of those songs and whittles that list down to where we have about 20 to 30 songs for the final Roots product. That process in itself probably takes about 30 hours just to work through that list. After that final song listing is compiled, we then move into preparing everything for the audition process. That involves basically going through and collecting chord charts, writing parts when we need to, identifying what instrumentation and vocals are needed on all of the songs, and really just recording vocal recordings for the backup parts so people have time to prepare and listen and learn the harmonies that are associated with each song and the backup parts as well. And then once we have all of that together, we have a Roots kickoff meeting in May where the team comes in and kind of hears the theme and the direction that we're going, and that is the kickstart to the audition process. Auditions begin in June, and those run for 2 months. So June and July, every Thursday, the teams sign up for the songs they want to try out for, and we audition typically 3 to 5 songs on Thursday night. Once we get through that audition process at the end, typically the end of July, 1st of August, we send out the list as far as who gets what on the vocals and the instrumentation, and then we begin the rehearsal process. The rehearsal process runs August, September, and October. We rehearse for Roots specifically every Thursday in August and September, and then those rehearsals ramp up to Thursdays and Sundays throughout the month of October until we get to the end and we're ready to actually perform Roots. There's also a lot of involvement from the programming team to choose costuming, transition, lights, all of the effects that you see when you come to a Roots. Another ministry that's an integral part of Roots is the Visual Arts Ministry. This ministry is responsible for the design, implementation, and construction of the stage backdrop. Those involved in this ministry can expect to dedicate 20 to 40 hours per Roots season. The experience provided by the backdrop enhances the band, drama, dance, and message by adding a visual dimension through God's gift of art. In addition, the backdrop provides a focal point for the audience and helps to create a sense of atmosphere and mood for the performance. So there is a lot of commitment and contribution from a lot of different people to put this on and bring the service forward. And with that, I'm just so proud of everybody that puts their time and effort in this every year.
Big of a song to that gentle of a intro, we just need to peel it back a little bit on the very last holy.
One option. I mean, it'd be harder on us. The guys, but it will be.
I messed it all up.
Eric, how has Roots impacted the community?
Well, with over 2,000 people that come through on any given year for the Roots performances, they get the gospel in a very unique and creative way that's slightly different than your normal average Sunday service. We also have here at G&G, which you can probably hear in the background, but we have a lot of different ministries that come together to just make Roots happen. I mean, not only the singers and the dancers and the choreography, but the cleaning crew, the cafe workers, the children's groups, I mean, just every ministry that we have here has something involved in Roots. And the group that's back there right now has happened to be building the stage for Roots, because we always have to build different levels and different stage aspects that they can use throughout the entire performance. Another way that people have started attending church through Roots. I know that there's quite a few people that I've talked to that are also in my life groups, that one of the things that they say is Roots actually got them coming to Good News Gathering, because they were invited to Roots. They came for the performance and they loved it, and they thought, you know, if this is a Roots performance, let's come and check out a normal Sunday and see kind of what a Sunday service looks like. So those are some of the biggest impacts that I think that Roots has had on the community, and it just really helps bring people together over just an awesome weekend performance.